Good morning. I thought I would welcome you all up to the top of the world. Either that or show you what it would look like if we all lived on Mars. These are some of the jokes here in St. George, Utah that we use a lot. It's a beautiful morning, so I'm up here hiking with my family on what my family likes to call Baker's Hat. But I don't know what it's called. Hey Sterling, what's it called up here? Schnapkai. I'm not even going to pretend to try to get that one right. But I wanted to talk to you for just a minute this morning about the number one most important thing that you can do to keep your homeschool running smoothly while you're juggling all of the duties of being a Commonwealth school leader or a homeschool group leader. Okay, so I know the lighting is pretty harsh and I'm all hot and sweaty after having hiked up here. But let's talk for just a minute about the number one most important thing to keep your homeschool running smoothly while you are leading a homeschool group. And some of you might be surprised, but it is devotional. Every single morning of your school week, getting up at the exact same time and starting your school day off right. Now, for some people, devotional is a really big deal. You can call it devotional, you can call it opening, you can call it whatever you want. But the most important thing is not what it's called, but it's that you're doing it consistently and on time. Now, I'm talking about myself here when I say that a lot of us have a really hard time being consistent with things. Some of you don't, and it's naturally a part of your personality, and I think that is fantastic, and I've always envied that because it's not me. But it took me about 10 years to actually realize how important this was and then to get it down as a steady habit and a permanent pattern in our lives. And I wish it hadn't taken that long, because once I had it down, I realized how automatic it made everything else. Now, part of that process, that automated process within your life, is not just starting school on time, but just the boundaries of time in and of themselves. So starting devotional at 9 o'clock in the morning for us is a given. It's sacred. It does not change. I won't say under any circumstances, because there's family trips and things like that. Or we could be up here on the top of Baker's Hat. Actually, it's a Saturday, so it doesn't count today. But 9 o'clock we start. And for me, it has to be something super simple. It can't be, I have my sister, she's much more organized about this whole devotional thing, and she does these beautiful devotionals, very well planned out. And but for me, it's too intricate. And so while I love looking at what she does and the things that she makes happen during that time, I've tried that and it doesn't work for me. So you have to find what works for you. For me, it has to be as simple as I get my derriere on the couch at 9 o'clock with all the kids, and for us, it's opening our scriptures and starting at 9 o'clock. Now, you have to have some automatic systems built into this, like I don't have to plan or prep for devotional to start at 9 o'clock, because if I have to plan or prep, then it's not going to start. And I've tried that, and I know it's a true thing for me. So we sit down and we open up to the bookmark. That's it. It's as simple as that. If the kids aren't there, depending upon their age, there's some different natural type consequences. I don't wait to start devotional for kids who have gotten in the shower late. I don't wait to start devotional for kids who aren't up yet. They just simply get a consequence. So I'm not nagging, I'm not yelling, I'm not like, everybody come, it's almost 9 o'clock. I don't do that. There's just very simple built-in consequences. So if they don't show up, then they get the consequence. It's that easy. And the consequence has to be a good enough one that it's significant enough that they want to govern themselves and get themselves here by 9 o'clock. The littler ones, of course, you have to prep early, get started, wake them up gently, and there's a whole process to that in order to get them there. And I understand that. I have been there. So don't worry, this takes some time to get your whole family in the same place. But I promise you that if you will make a consistent, steady effort, and what that means is not being perfect right off the bat, but the effort is consistent, the effort is steady, that when you fall down on the job, so to speak, that you go, that didn't work very well today. Tomorrow's going to be better. Tomorrow we're going to do 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever time it is that you've chosen for yourself and your family. So you decide what you need to get done in the morning before this starts, and you decide what time this is going to start for you and what it's going to look like. And then you build everything around that. For me and my family, I'm just going to share right now the stage that we're at is I just have older scholar kids in my home. So I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. The rest of my kids are older. And so we start at 9 o'clock, we do our scripture study, and then we do an inspirational message sometimes on top of that, not all the time. And then we follow that up with prayer. After prayer, we do family book. Right now we happen to be reading out of a mythology book. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. We're reading out of a mythology book. I was trying to remember the author's name, but I don't recall right now. It's probably because, we're at a high elevation. My brain's not working. Just kidding. So we finish our family book, and then I go through with them. Sometimes I do this before the family book, sometimes after. When I had mixed ages, where I had scholars and young kids at the same time, we were usually reading a book that was geared towards the littler kids. So I didn't expect the older kids to stay for the family book all the time. They had a lot of studies to do. But this other component that I'm leading up to is checking in with each older student first, and seeing what they need to do for the day. So I will ask my son Sterling, okay, what's on tap for you today? And he'll go over his list. I usually expect them to have their lists written down already. They're usually taking from yesterday or the beginning of the week, and they're looking at what they need to get done that week, and then they're filling in their list for the day. And then they're learning how to prioritize through this process. They're learning how to track things. And so they go through, star the things that are most important, show me what needs to be done on the computer, what doesn't need to be done on the computer, so that I can arrange computer time for them, what they want to do in their rooms, so some reading, some writing, those kind of things, where they can have quiet space in their own bedrooms, those kinds of things. So we go through that with each one of them. I always start at the oldest, go down to the youngest, and yes, I even did this when I had younger children. They love to be a part of this and go, Mom, if I skip them, they'd be like, Mom, wait, you forgot me. I have my list too. And sometimes it would just be in their head, and I just go, okay, honey, what's on your list? Today I want to play with Legos. Today I want to, anyways, lots of fun stuff. So once they've done that and gone over their list, then basically now and they know, and the communication's been shared, what needs to get done that day. So they can hold themselves accountable, you can help hold them accountable, and how much you do of that is going to depend on their age and their personality and where they are at in their own self-development. But it really sets the tone for the day. And then basically everybody scatters after that to their own studies, their own projects. The little kids, when I had them, they stayed with me. We read more books. We did very simple, very gentle, loving educational things that really helped to increase their love of learning and their joy in the family environment that we had. So those kind of things were great while the older kids were studying. And then usually around lunchtime, we all kind of came back together again. By that time, the older kids definitely needed a break. The younger kids did too. Everybody was hungry. And at lunch for us, that was kind of the end time for the little ones. And then they would have individual playtime or nap time or whatever after lunch while the older kids went back to study. So the most important thing I could tell you, really, to help organize your day so that you are getting your educational stuff in, as well as having time to do the leadership things that you need to for your homeschool group, is to have devotional on time every day. Have some really great boundaries around your school time. Know exactly what that is. You're all in during that time with them, especially from like 9 to 12. And then after 12 was always the time that I gave myself to work on stuff for homeschool groups, for Commonwealth. For me, that's when I do my office hours and stuff now. Of course, it's a different time and season for me with just these older kids, but I want you to know that you will get more done if you set aside blocks of times and honor the boundaries that you set for yourself. Okay, so have a great week next week. I hope it's a fabulous week where you are getting up and starting school at the same time every single day. God bless. Love you. Bye.